Dr. Minho Park pushed his glasses up his nose and stared at the computer screen. The numbers made no sense. He had been watching the stars for 15 years, but he had never seen anything like this. This cannot be right, he said to himself, in the empty lab. The Seoul Observatory was quiet at 3 in the morning. Only the soft hum of computers filled the air. The data showed something big moving toward Earth. Very big, and very fast. Minho picked up his phone and called his partner, Dr. Sumin Choi. She worked in the building next door studying life forms and how they grow. Sumin, you need to come here now, he said when she answered. Minho, it is 3 in the morning. What is wrong? Something is coming toward Earth. The gravity readings are crazy. I think we are in trouble. 10 minutes later, Sumin ran into the lab. Her hair was messy and she wore old clothes, but her eyes were wide and alert. Show me, she said. Minho pointed at the screen. Look at these numbers. Something massive is pulling on our planet, but I cannot see what it is. Sumin studied the data. She was smart, maybe smarter than Minho. How big? She asked. Big enough to change Earth's orbit if it gets too close. They worked together for 2 hours, checking the numbers again and again. The readings stayed the same. Something huge was moving toward Earth, but their telescopes could not see it. At 5 in the morning, everything changed. The sky above Seoul began to darken. Not with clouds, but with something else. Something solid. Minho, Sumin whispered. Look outside. They ran to the window. Above the city, a massive black shape hung in the air. It was long and thin, like a knife made of shadow. The ship was so big that it covered 10 city blocks. Call the government, Sumin said. Call everyone. But Minho could not move. He just stared at the ship. After a moment, more ships appeared. They came out of nowhere, like they had been invisible before. In the streets below, people began to scream. Captain Ji-Hyun Lee was having coffee in her office when the emergency call came. She led a special team of soldiers who trained for strange threats, but nothing had prepared her for this. Captain, we have unknown aircraft over Seoul, the voice on the radio said. They are not responding to our calls. Ji-Hyun grabbed her gear and ran to the roof of the military building. What she saw made her stop breathing for a moment. Giant black ships hung over the city like dark clouds. They were smooth and had no windows, no lights. They just floated there, silent and scary. Get me a helicopter, she ordered her team. We need to get closer. Captain, that might not be safe, said Sergeant Woo Jin Kim. Nothing about this is safe, Ji-Hyun replied. As their helicopter flew toward the nearest ship, Ji-Hyun tried to count them. She stopped at 20. There were too many to count, and more kept appearing over other parts of the city. The ships were beautiful in a terrifying way. Their black surface looked like water, smooth and perfect. No seams or marks showed where they were built. They are not moving, Woo Jin said. What are they waiting for? Ji-Hyun did not know, but she was about to find out. A bright blue light shot down from one of the ships. It hit the street below and spread out like water. But instead of being wet, the light seemed to grab things. People touched by the light began to float up into the air. They did not look hurt or scared. They looked calm, like they were sleeping while standing up. They are taking people, Ji-Hyun said into her radio. All units, the aliens are taking our people. The word aliens felt strange coming out of her mouth. 3 hours ago, she had been worried about normal things like paperwork and training schedules. More blue lights shot down from other ships. All over Seoul, people began floating up into the air, young and old, rich and poor. The lights did not seem to care who they took. Captain, we need to help them, Woo Jin said. Ji-Hyun ordered the pilot to fly closer to one of the blue beams. They could see people inside it, floating up slowly like they were underwater. Fire warning shots near the ship, Ji-Hyun ordered. Woo Jin used the helicopter's machine gun to shoot bullets near the alien ship. The bullets hit the black surface and just disappeared. No damage, no reaction. The ship kept taking people. "Try the rockets," Ji-hyun said. 2 small rockets shot from the helicopter toward the ship. They hit the black surface and exploded in bright flashes. When the smoke cleared, the ship looked exactly the same. Not even a scratch. "Our weapons do nothing," Woo-jin said. Down in the city, the blue lights kept working. Ji-hyun watched as entire streets emptied out. The aliens seemed to want specific people. They took the smart ones, the creative ones, the leaders. From her helicopter, Ji-hyun saw Dr. Sumin Choi floating up in a blue beam near the observatory. The scientist looked peaceful, like she was having a nice dream. "We have to get closer," Ji-hyun said. "Maybe we can grab some of the people before they reach the ship." But as they flew toward Dr. Choi, something strange happened. The helicopter's engines began to fail. Not broken, but like they were being turned off by something outside. "We are going down," the pilot said. "I cannot control the aircraft." They crashed in a park, but the landing was soft. Too soft. Like something had caught them and put them down gently. Ji-hyun and her team climbed out of the helicopter. Around them, Seoul looked like a ghost town. The blue lights had taken thousands of people in just 30 minutes. More helicopters and jets appeared in the sky. The military was fighting back. But every aircraft that got too close to the alien ships was gently forced to land. No one was hurt, but no one could stop the aliens either. The news reports started coming in from around the world. The same thing was happening everywhere. New York, London, Tokyo, Mumbai. Giant black ships appeared and began taking people. The aliens, everyone was calling them aliens now, seemed to know exactly who they wanted. Scientists like Dr. Choi, artists and writers, engineers and doctors, teachers and inventors. They were taking the smart ones. After 6 hours, the blue lights stopped. The ships hung in the air for another hour like they were resting. Then, one by one, they began to disappear. Not flying away. Disappearing, like they were never there. By evening, the sky was clear again. But Earth was different. 10 million people were gone. Taken. Just like that. Ji-hyun stood in the empty streets of Seoul. Around her, families cried and searched for missing loved ones. The government had no answers. The military had no plan. Dr. Minho Park walked through the city, calling Sumin's name. But she was gone, along with half of the smart people on Earth. The aliens had come, taken what they wanted, and left. They did not try to talk. They did not explain. They just took and left. But they left something behind. Not objects or messages. They left questions. Why did they come? Why did they take specific people? And most important of all, would they come back? In the days that followed, the world tried to return to normal. But normal was gone forever. The aliens had shown everyone that humans were not alone in the universe, and they were not the strongest ones. The invasion lasted only 1 day. But that day changed everything. Nobody knew that this was just the beginning. 6 months had passed since the day the world called the Taking. Earth was still spinning, but everything else had changed. President Yoon Kim stood in the new Global Defense Center in Geneva. Leaders from every country had come together after the alien invasion. They knew that one nation alone could not face what might come next. "We need to be ready," she said to the room full of generals and scientists. "The aliens took our best people for a reason. We must find out why." Commander Taewon Shin raised his hand. He was the head of the new Alien Technology Recovery Division. His job was to find and study anything the aliens had left behind. "We have made some discoveries," he said. "Small pieces of their ships fell off during the invasion. We have been studying them for months." He pressed a button and a large screen showed pictures of strange black metal. It looked smooth like glass but felt hard like steel. "This material is not like anything we know," Taewon continued. Our best scientists cannot figure out how it was made. In the back of the room, engineer Dongmin Han listened carefully. He had been working on the alien pieces day and night. What he had found was scary and amazing at the same time. "Sir," Dongmin said, standing up, "I need to tell everyone something important. This metal is not just advanced technology. Part of it is alive." The room became very quiet. "What do you mean alive?" President Kim asked. Dongmin walked to the front and took the microphone. "We found DNA inside the metal, human DNA. The aliens somehow mixed human biology with their technology." General Seokjin Bai, who led the military response, frowned. "Are you saying they used our people to build their ships?" "Not exactly," Dongmin replied. "It looks like they made the technology to work with humans, like they wanted humans to use it." This news made everyone uncomfortable. Why would aliens build technology for humans to use? Dr. Hyejin Song had been studying old books and ancient ruins around the world. She worked for the Archaeological Emergency Team, a new group that looked for clues about aliens in human history. "I have found something else," she said. "The aliens have been here before." She showed pictures of cave paintings from different countries. They all showed the same thing, dark shapes in the sky taking people up into the air. "These paintings are thousands of years old," Hyejin explained. "In Egypt, China, Mexico, and other places. The same story appears everywhere. Sky takers who come and take the smart ones." "How many times have they come?" President Kim asked. "At least 5 times that we can prove. Maybe more. But this time was different." "Different how?" "In the old stories, the sky takers always came back. They would take people, leave for a while, then return. But this time, they have not come back. In Seoul, Corporal Jiwoo Nam was having strange dreams again. She was one of the few people who had escaped during the invasion. A blue light had started to lift her up, but then something went wrong with the alien ship. She fell back to the ground and ran away. Since that day, she had been different. She could think faster. Her reflexes were quicker. And she had dreams about places she had never seen. In her dreams, she saw huge machines fighting in space. She saw planets being destroyed. She saw aliens running away from something terrible. I think they were scared," she told Dr. Kung Min Yu, the psychologist who studied the invasion survivors. "Scared of what?" Dr. Yu asked. "Something worse than them. Something that eats planets." Dr. Yu wrote notes while Jiwoo talked. There were 53 survivors like Jiwoo around the world. People who had been touched by the alien beams, but not taken. They all reported the same things: better abilities and strange dreams. "Tell me about the dreams again," Dr. Yu said. "I see the aliens running from metal creatures. The metal things are huge and they turn everything into more metal. The aliens took our people because they needed help fighting the metal creatures." Dr. Yu had heard similar stories from other survivors. At first, she thought they were just having nightmares. But the details were always the same. Every survivor described the same metal enemies. Meanwhile, Dr. Minho Park had not stopped working since Sumin disappeared. He spent every day trying to decode signals from space. He believed the aliens had left messages behind. His new partner, scientist Nyon Oh, helped him build better equipment. They used pieces of alien technology that Dongmin's team had found. "Minho, look at this," Nyon said one evening. She was looking at radio signals from deep space. "What is it?" "A pattern. It repeats every few hours, but it is not coming from the direction the alien ships went." Minho studied the signal. It was mathematical, clearly made by intelligent beings, but it was coming from the opposite direction. "2 different alien groups?" he asked. "Maybe, or maybe one group is running from the other." Intelligence officer Harry Lim worked for the Global Defense Coalition's spy network. Her job was to find out what other countries knew about the aliens. What she discovered made her very worried. "President Kim," she said during a private meeting. The Russians found an alien communication device in Siberia. They have been listening to alien messages. What kind of messages? Warnings. The aliens who took our people were sending warnings to others of their kind. They were telling them to stay away from this part of the galaxy. Stay away from what? From something they call the Devourers, metal beings that consume everything in their path. President Kim felt cold. Are you saying the aliens who invaded us were running away from something worse? Yes. And according to the messages, the Devourers are coming this way. Back in Seoul, Ji-woo was training with other survivors. General Seokjin had created a special unit for people like her. They called themselves the Touched. The Touched could do things normal humans could not. They were faster, stronger, and smarter, but more importantly, they seemed to understand alien technology without being taught. Try to turn on this device, Instructor Sun-ho Kwan told Ji-woo. He handed her a piece of alien technology that no scientist had been able to activate. Ji-woo held the device in her hands. It felt warm and familiar, like she had used it before. Without thinking, she pressed her thumb against a smooth spot on its surface. The device came to life with a soft blue glow. How did you know how to do that? Sun-ho asked. I just knew, Ji-woo replied. It felt right. All around the world, the Touched were making similar discoveries. They could operate alien technology that scientists could not figure out. They could read alien symbols without being taught. They could even improve the alien devices, making them work better. Dr. Kyung-min studied these abilities carefully. It is like the alien beams changed their brains, she reported to the Global Defense Council. They can think in ways that normal humans cannot. Is that good or bad? President Kim asked. I think it was planned. The aliens did not take these people by accident. They changed them on purpose. For what purpose? To fight the Devourers. I think the aliens were trying to create human weapons. Engineer Dong-min had been working with the Touched to understand alien technology better. What they found together was amazing. The alien technology is not just tools, he explained to Commander Taewon. It is like a seed that grows. When humans touch it, it becomes more than what it was before. What do you mean? I mean human creativity makes it better. The aliens built technology that needs human imagination to reach its full potential. So they were not trying to replace us. They were trying to upgrade us. Exactly. They needed humans to become something new, something that could fight the Devourers. As the months passed, Earth began to change. The Touched were trained as soldiers and scientists. Alien technology was studied and improved. New weapons were built. But the most important discovery came from Dr. Minho and Nayeon. They finally decoded a complete alien message. President Kim, Minho said over the phone, you need to come to the observatory right now. When the president arrived, Minho showed her the translated message on his computer screen. What does it say? She asked. It is a message from the aliens who took our people. They sent it just before they disappeared. President Kim read the translation. To those who remain, we have taken your brightest minds not as prisoners, but as students. The Devourers come and only chaos can stop perfect order. Humans possess the gift of unpredictable thought. We go now to prepare for the final battle. If we do not return, know that your species has become the galaxy's last hope. President Kim looked at Minho. They are not coming back. No. They expect us to fight the Devourers ourselves. Outside the observatory, Ji-woo was practicing with alien weapons. She could make them do things their original builders never imagined. Around the world, other Touched were doing the same. The aliens had not invaded Earth to conquer it. They had come to save it by turning humans into something new. The question now was, would it be enough? General Seokjin Bey walked through the underground facility beneath Mount Fuji. The Japanese government had given this secret base to the Global Defense Coalition after the invasion. Now it housed the most important project on Earth. "Show me what you have built," he said to scientist Naeon O. Naeon led him down a long hallway lined with laboratories. Inside each lab, teams of scientists worked with pieces of alien technology, but these were not the same pieces they had found 6 months ago. These were new devices built by humans using alien ideas. "We call it hybrid technology," Naeon explained. "We take alien designs and improve them with human creativity." They stopped at a large window that looked into a testing chamber. Inside, Corporal Jiwoo Nam was holding a weapon that looked like a mix between a rifle and a piece of art. It was smooth and curved, with blue lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Watch this," Naeon said. Jiwoo pointed the weapon at a thick metal wall and pulled the trigger. Instead of bullets or beams, the weapon shot out what looked like liquid lightning. The metal wall did not just break, it turned into dust. "Our weapons can destroy anything," Naeon said. "But that is not the best part." "What is the best part?" "Watch Jiwoo's face." General Seokjin looked closely at Jiwoo through the window. She was smiling while holding the weapon. Not a happy smile, but a knowing smile. Like she understood something that others did not. "The touched do not just use these weapons," Naeon continued. "They improve them while using them. Every time Jiwoo fires that weapon, it becomes better at destroying things. How is that possible? We think it is because human brains work differently from alien brains. Aliens think in straight lines. Humans think in circles and zigzags. When human creativity meets alien technology, new possibilities are born." In another part of the base, Dr. Kyungmin Yu was studying the psychological effects of the alien enhancement. She had discovered something that worried and excited her at the same time. "Commander Taewon," she called out as he walked past her office. "I need to show you something." Taewon entered her office, which was filled with brain scans and psychological reports. "What have you found?" he asked. "The touched are changing faster than we expected. Not just their abilities, but their way of thinking." She showed him brain scans of Jiwoo from different months. Look at the activity in her brain over time. The first scan looked normal. The second scan, taken 1 month later, showed more activity in the creative parts of the brain. The third scan looked completely different. By the 4th month, her brain was creating new neural pathways that should not exist, Dr. Yu explained. She can now think in ways that normal humans cannot. Is this dangerous? I do not think so. But it means the touched are becoming something new, something between human and alien. Are they still human? Dr. Yu thought about this question for a moment. They are more human than before. The alien enhancement did not make them less human. It made them more creative, more adaptable, more chaotic. Chaotic? Yes. And I think that is exactly what the aliens wanted. Meanwhile, Intelligence Officer Harry Lim had been tracking signals from deep space. What she found made her run to the command center. President Kim, she said over the emergency communication system. The Devourers are coming. President Kim was in Geneva meeting with world leaders. How long do we have? She asked. 3 months, maybe less. We are detecting massive objects moving through space toward our solar system. How massive? Each object is the size of a moon, and there are hundreds of them. The room full of world leaders became silent. They had been preparing for this moment, but 3 months did not feel like enough time. Are our defenses ready? President Kim asked General Seokjin. We have built 50 hybrid ships and trained 300 touched soldiers, he replied, but the enemy has hundreds of moon-sized ships. Then we need to be smarter, not bigger, President Kim said. Back at Mount Fuji, engineer Dongmin Han was working on his greatest creation. It was a ship that looked like it had been grown instead of built. Its surface moved and shifted like it was alive. This is not just a ship, he explained to Admiral Sunho Kwan, who would command the human fleet. It is a living weapon that learns and adapts. How does it work? The hull is made of hybrid biometal that repairs itself and evolves. The weapons change based on what they are fighting. The engines get faster the longer they run. Admiral Sunho walked around the ship, studying its organic curves. It looks alien. It is alien, but it is also human. We built it with alien technology, but human imagination shaped every part of it. Will it be enough to fight the Devourers? I hope so. But our real advantage is not the ships. It is the people who will fly them. The Touched had been training for months to pilot the hybrid ships. Unlike normal pilots, they did not need to learn how to fly. They seemed to know instinctively how the ships worked. Ji-Woo stood in front of her assigned ship. It was smaller than the others, built for speed and surprise attacks. As she placed her hand on its surface, the ship responded by changing color to match her thoughts. The ship knows what I want to do before I do it, she told instructor Sunho Kwon. How does that feel? He asked. Like flying in a dream, everything is possible. Other Touched pilots reported similar experiences. The ships were not just vehicles. They were partners that amplified human creativity and intuition. Dr. Minho Park had been working day and night to understand the Devourers. The alien messages had described them as perfect machines that turned everything into more machines. They are not alive like we understand life, he explained to the Defense Council. They are pure logic, pure order. They see chaos as a disease that must be cured. What kind of chaos? President Kim asked. Human chaos. Creativity, unpredictability, art, love. All the things that make humans special are things the Devourers want to destroy. So this is not just a war for Earth. It is a war for the right to be chaotic. Exactly. The aliens who took our people understood this. They knew that only chaos could defeat perfect order. Tactical analyst Young-Ho Park had been developing strategies for fighting the Devourers. His plans looked crazy to traditional military minds, but they made perfect sense to the Touched. We cannot fight them like a normal army, he explained to Admiral Sunho. Normal tactics will fail because the Devourers can calculate all possible military strategies. So what do? We fight like humans. We do things that make no logical sense. We attack when we should retreat. We retreat when we should attack. We make them confused. Confusion as a weapon? The most powerful weapon we have. A confused enemy is a defeated enemy. As the 3 months passed, Earth transformed into something new. The hybrid ships were launched into orbit. The Touched pilots bonded with their vessels. New weapons were built that combined alien efficiency with human madness. But the most important change was in how humans saw themselves. They were no longer just inhabitants of one planet. They were the guardians of chaos in a universe that the Devourers wanted to make perfectly orderly. Dr. Sumin Choi had been gone for almost a year, but Dr. Minho still thought about her every day. He wondered if she was still alive somewhere among the stars. He wondered if the aliens who took her were treating her well. Then one day, he received a message that changed everything. Minho, the voice said through the communication system. It was Sumin's voice, but it sounded different. Older, wiser. Can you hear me? Sumin? Where are you? Are you alive? I am alive. We are all alive. The aliens did not hurt us. They taught us. And now we are coming home. Coming home? When? Soon. But Minho, you need to know something. Earth is about to become the most important planet in the galaxy. The Devourers are not just coming for Earth. They are coming for everyone. What do you mean? We are the last hope. Not just for humans, but for every free species in the galaxy. The aliens brought us together, the Taken Ones and the Enhanced Ones, to create something new. What kind of something new? An army of chaos. And it is time to show the universe what humans can do. The transmission ended, but Minho's heart was full of hope for the first time in months. Sumin was alive. The taken ones were coming back, and Earth was about to fight not just for survival, but for the freedom of the entire galaxy. In orbit above Earth, the hybrid ships waited like sleeping dragons. Their human pilots dreamed of battles among the stars. And somewhere in deep space, perfect machines moved toward Earth, expecting to find an orderly world ready for conversion. They were about to discover that humans were the most disorderly force in the universe. The first Devourer ship appeared at the edge of the solar system on a Tuesday morning. Admiral Sunho Kwon was drinking coffee in his command center when the alarm started screaming. "Sir, we have contact," reported Communications Officer So-young. "Jang. One massive object near Pluto." Sunho put down his coffee and walked to the main screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. The Devourer ship was not like the elegant alien vessels that had visited Earth. It was a perfect geometric shape, a cube the size of Earth's moon. Its surface was silver and completely smooth, like a mirror. "Floating in space. Any response to our signals?" Sunho asked. "No, sir. It is just sitting there." "What is it doing?" Tech specialist Young-Ho Park studied the readings from their long-range sensors. "It appears to be scanning everything in the solar system. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid." "Scanning for what?" "I think it is deciding how to convert everything into more machines." On Earth, President Yoon Kim called an emergency meeting of all world leaders. The moment they had been preparing for was finally here. "The enemy has arrived," she announced to the room. "One ship for now, but our intelligence suggests hundreds more are following." General Seokjin Bai stood up. "Our hybrid fleet is ready. 50 ships with touched pilots. Should we attack now while there is only one enemy ship?" "No," said Dr. Minho Park, who had joined the meeting as the lead scientist. "We need to learn how they fight first. Send one scout ship to observe." In orbit above Earth, Corporal Jiwoo Nam climbed into her hybrid fighter. The ship recognized her touch and came alive with soft blue lights. Its organic hull shifted and adapted to her body like a second skin. "Jiwoo, your mission is to get close to the enemy ship and gather information," Admiral Sunho's voice came through the communication system. "Do not engage unless they attack first." "Understood, sir," Jiwoo replied. But as her ship flew toward the edge of the solar system, she felt something strange. The ship was excited. It wanted to fight. "Easy, girl," she whispered to her ship. "We are just looking today." The journey to Pluto took 6 hours with the hybrid ship's advanced engines. As Jiwoo got closer to the Devourer cube, her instruments started acting strangely. "Admiral, something is wrong," she reported. "The enemy ship is doing something to space itself." "What do you mean?" "The area around the cube is changing. Space is becoming more organized." On Earth, the scientists studied Jiwoo's readings. Dr. Heejin Song, the archaeologist who had studied ancient alien visits, made a disturbing discovery. "The Devourers are not just machines," she announced to the Defense Council. "They are reality converters. They change the basic laws of physics to make everything logical and predictable." "That is impossible," said engineer Dongmin Han. "Look at the data. In the space around their ship, chaos is being eliminated. Random quantum fluctuations are being forced into patterns. Even the movement of dust particles is becoming perfectly predictable." President Kim felt a chill. "What happens when that field reaches Earth? Human creativity will become impossible. Art, imagination, love, all the chaotic things that make us human will simply stop working." Near Pluto, Jiwoo was discovering this firsthand. As her ship moved closer to the cube, she felt her thoughts becoming slower and more logical. The ship's organic hull was hardening, becoming more like normal metal. "Admiral, I cannot get any closer," she reported. "The ship is losing its ability to adapt, and I am losing my ability to think creatively." "Return to Earth immediately," Admiral Sunho ordered. But as Jiwoo tried to turn around, the cube finally responded to her presence. A beam of silver light shot out and hit her ship. The beam did not destroy the ship. Instead, it tried to convert it into something orderly and predictable. Ji-woo watched in horror as parts of her ship began changing into geometric shapes. "No," she whispered. Then she screamed it. "No!" Her refusal to accept the conversion sent a shockwave through both her ship and her enhanced brain. The ship fought back against the conversion beam, its organic hull rippling and changing in ways that defied the Devourer's logic. "Impossible," came a voice through space. It was the first time anyone had heard a Devourer speak. The voice was perfectly calm and logical. "Chaos cannot resist order." "Watch us," Ji-woo replied, and pushed her ship's engines to maximum power. Her ship did not just fly away from the cube. It danced, it spiraled and spun in patterns that made no mathematical sense, but were beautiful to watch. The conversion beam tried to follow, but it could not predict where the ship would go next. "Admiral," Ji-woo said as she flew back toward, "Earth and I know how to fight them. We have to be more chaotic than they can calculate." On Earth, the defense teams analyzed every second of Ji-woo's encounter. What they learned changed their entire strategy. "The Devourers are not unstoppable," reported tactical analyst Woo-jin Kim. "They can be confused, but only by actions that make no logical sense." "Give me an example," President Kim said. Ji-woo's ship survived because it refused to follow the laws of physics in a predictable way. It flew like art instead of like a machine. Dr. Kyung-min Yoo, who had been studying the psychological effects of the alien enhancement, had an insight that excited everyone. The reason the aliens enhanced certain humans was not to make them smarter, she announced. It was to make them more chaotic. The touched do not think in logical patterns. They think in creative explosions. So our enhanced humans are natural weapons against the Devourers? General Seokjin asked. More than weapons, they are chaos generators, and chaos is the one thing the Devourers cannot convert. As the days passed, more Devourer cubes appeared throughout the solar system. They did not attack Earth directly. Instead, they began converting asteroids and moons into more cubes. "They are building an army," observed Intelligence Officer Harry Lim. "Every piece of matter they convert becomes another Devourer." "How long before they have enough ships to attack Earth?" President Kim asked. "At their current rate, 2 weeks. Then we attack first." Admiral Sunho gathered his hybrid fleet in orbit above Earth, 50 ships that looked more like living creatures than machines. Each one was piloted by a touched human whose enhanced brain could think in chaotic patterns. "Remember," he told his pilots, "we are not trying to destroy them with superior firepower. We are trying to confuse them with superior chaos." The battle plan was unlike anything in military history. Instead of organized formations, the ships would attack in completely random patterns. Instead of focusing fire on strategic targets, they would shoot at whatever felt interesting in the moment. "This plan makes no sense," said traditional military advisor Colonel Min Jae-ko. "Exactly," replied Admiral Sunho. "That is why it will work." But before the human fleet could launch their attack, something unexpected happened. The alien ships that had taken Earth's people 6 months ago suddenly appeared near Mars. "Admiral," Communications Officer So-young reported, "we are receiving a transmission from Dr. Sumin Choi." "Put her through." Sumin's voice filled the command center, but she sounded different. Older and wiser, like she had lived through years of experience in just 6 months. "Admiral Sunho, this is Dr. Sumin Choi reporting for duty." "Dr. Choi, where have you been? Are the other taken humans with you?" "We are all here. 10 million humans who have been training with our alien allies. We have learned things that will help in this battle." "What kind of things?" "We have learned how to think like the aliens who enhanced us. We have learned how to combine human chaos with alien technology. And we have learned why the Devourers are so afraid of us." "They are afraid?" "Terrified. In their perfect logical minds, chaos is not just disorder. It is an existential threat. We represent everything they cannot understand or control. The alien ships that carried the taken humans moved into formation with the Earth fleet. But these were not the same ships that had left Earth 6 months ago. They had been modified with human creativity, turned into something that was part alien technology and part human art. Dr. Minho Park wept with joy when he saw Suman's ship. It looked like a flower made of starlight, beautiful and impossible. Minho, Suman's voice came through the communication system. Are you ready to show the universe what humans can do when we work together? I have been ready for 6 months, he replied. Then let us begin. The combined human-alien fleet moved toward the Devourer cubes, but they did not fly in formation. Each ship moved like it was dancing to music only it could hear. The Devourers tried to predict their movement patterns and failed. They tried to convert the ships and failed. They tried to understand the strategy and failed. Impossible, the Devourer voices said in unison. Chaos cannot be victorious over order. Watch. Us, said 10 million human voices together. And the real battle for the galaxy began. The battle above Mars was unlike anything the universe had ever seen. It was not a fight between two armies. It was a war between two different ways of thinking. The Devourer cubes moved in perfect geometric patterns, their weapons firing with mathematical precision. Every shot was calculated to hit exactly where their targets should be, but the human ships were never where they should be. Corporal Jiwoo Nam spun her fighter through space like a dancer, her ship responding to emotions instead of logic. When she felt angry, it flew faster. When she felt playful, it changed direction in impossible ways. Target the cube on your left, Admiral Sunho's voice came through her communicator. Which left? Jiwoo laughed as her ship rolled upside down. I have 17 lefts right now. Her weapons fired streams of energy that looked like liquid rainbows. When they hit the Devourer cube, something amazing happened. Instead of just damaging the perfect surface, the rainbow energy made it start changing colors randomly. The cube is malfunctioning, reported tech specialist Soyoung Jang from the command ship. Its logic circuits cannot process random color changes. Dr. Suman Choi flew her flower-shaped ship close to another cube. Her months of training with the aliens had taught her something important. Chaos was not just random action. It was creative action that followed no rules. Watch this, she said to her old partner, Dr. Minho, who was monitoring from Earth. Suman's ship began to sing. Not with radio waves, but with gravitational pulses that created music in the fabric of space itself. The song had no pattern, no rhythm, no logical structure. It was pure human creativity turned into sound. The Devourer cube tried to analyze the song and convert it into something orderly. But how do you organize something that refuses to follow any rules? The cube's computers began overheating as they tried to process the impossible music. Fascinating, came the calm Devourer voice. You are using irrationality as a weapon. We are using humanity as a weapon, Suman replied. Engineer Dongmin Han watched the battle from his command center on Earth. His hybrid ships were performing beyond his wildest dreams. They were not just fighting the Devourers, they were confusing them into defeat. Admiral, the enemy cubes are trying to retreat, he reported to Admiral Sunho. No, Admiral Sunho replied. They are not retreating. They are regrouping. This was just the advanced scout force. He was right. At the edge of the solar system, hundreds of new Devourer cubes appeared. Each one was the size of a moon, and they moved together like a single massive machine. Orders, sir? Asked Captain Ji-hyun Lee, who commanded one of the larger hybrid ships. Admiral Sunho looked at the overwhelming enemy force and made a decision that would change galactic history. All ships, spread out across the entire solar system. Do not try to fight them as a fleet. Fight them as individuals. Show them that chaos cannot be defeated because chaos cannot be predicted. The human ships scattered like seeds in the wind. Each one went in a different direction, some toward the enemy, some away, some in circles that made no sense. The Devourers tried to track them all and failed. Their logical minds could not process so many random targets moving in so many illogical ways. General Seokjin Bey launched the second phase of the human defense. From bases on Earth, Moon, and Mars, thousands of smaller ships rose into space. These were not hybrid ships. They were purely human vessels modified with alien technology. But their pilots were all touched, enhanced humans who could think in ways that made no logical sense. Remember, General Seokjin told his pilots, you are not trying to win a normal battle. You are trying to teach the universe that chaos is stronger than order. Tactical Analyst. Young-Ho Park had spent months developing strategies for this moment. His plans looked like abstract art instead of military formations. Attack Pattern 17, he ordered. Sir, what is Attack Pattern 17? Asked a confused pilot. Whatever you think it should be, Young-Ho replied. Make it up as you go. This was the key to human victory. While the Devourers tried to calculate responses to specific attacks, the humans kept changing what their attacks meant. Dr. Kyung-Min Yu monitored the psychological effects of the battle on the touched pilots. What she saw amazed her. President Kim, she reported, the enhanced humans are not just fighting with chaos. They are becoming more chaotic during the battle. Is that good or bad? It is perfect. The more chaotic they become, the more impossible they are for the Devourers to understand. Jiwoo found herself in the middle of a group of Devourer cubes. Instead of trying to escape, she decided to dance. Her ship spun and twirled between the enemy vessels, its organic hull shifting colors and shapes like a living kaleidoscope. The cubes tried to target her with their conversion beams, but she was always somewhere else by the time they fired. You cannot convert what you cannot catch, she sang as she flew. One by one, the cubes began to overheat. Their logical circuits could not process the beautiful, meaningless patterns of her movement. Dr. Suman had learned something during her time with the aliens. The species that had taken Earth's people, who called themselves the Valeth, had been fighting the Devourers for thousands of years. They had always lost because they tried to fight logic with better logic. Minho, she said through the communication link, the aliens were wrong about how to fight the Devourers. What do you mean? They tried to become more logical than the machines. But that is impossible. The only way to defeat perfect logic is with perfect chaos. And humans are perfect chaos? No. Humans are imperfect chaos, which is even better. The battle raged for 3 days. Human ships danced through space, while Devourer cubes tried desperately to understand them. Slowly, the perfect machines began to make mistakes. Intelligence Officer Harry Lim noticed it first. Admiral, the enemy cubes are starting to act randomly. What do you mean randomly? They are firing at empty space, moving in circles. Some of them are even firing at each other. Admiral Sunho realized what was happening. They are trying to copy our chaos, but they cannot understand that chaos cannot be copied. The Devourers were logical machines trying to act illogically. It was like watching someone try to dance while following a mathematical formula. The result was not chaos. It was broken logic. President Yoona Kim watched the battle from Earth and made a decision that surprised everyone. All Earth ships, begin pursuit, she ordered. Madam President, General Seokjin said, pursue what? The enemy is not retreating. Not yet, but they will, and when they do, we follow them. She was right. As more Devourer cubes began malfunctioning, from exposure to human chaos, the remaining machines finally did something they had never done before. They ran away. Fleet Admiral Min Jae-ko, who had been put in charge of the pursuit force, could not believe what he was seeing. The Devourers are fleeing the solar system, he reported. They are abandoning their conversion of our asteroids and moons. Then we follow them, President Kim said. It is time to take the fight to them. The human fleet that left Earth was not the same one that had defended it. The ships had evolved during the battle, becoming more chaotic and more beautiful. Their human crews had also evolved, becoming more creative and more unpredictable. Dr. Sumin flew her flower ship alongside Admiral Sunho's command vessel as they left the solar system. Sumin, Dr. Minho called from Earth. What will you find out there? Other worlds that the Devourers have conquered, she replied. Other species that have been converted into perfect order. Can you save them? We can try. We can teach them how to be chaotic again. The human fleet spread across the galaxy like a virus of creativity. Wherever they found Devourer-controlled worlds, they did not attack with weapons. They attacked with art, music, poetry, and dance. On the machine world of Kepler 442b, Captain Ji-hyun Lee used her ship's gravitational pulse generators to create a sculpture made of space-time itself. The converted inhabitants looked up at the impossible beauty and remembered what it felt like to dream. On the orderly planet Proxima Centauri C, Corporal Jiwoo taught the logical inhabitants how to paint pictures that made no sense but felt true. Anyway, Engineer Dongmin built ships that were half machine and half garden, showing converted species that technology could be beautiful instead of just efficient. The Devourers tried to stop the spread of chaos, but chaos is contagious. Every world the humans touched began to remember creativity. Every species they met began to think in new ways. This is impossible, the Devourer voices said across the galaxy. Order cannot be defeated by disorder. We are not disorder, replied 10 million human voices. We are organized chaos. We are chaos with purpose. We are chaos that chooses to be creative instead of destructive. Years passed. The human fleet grew as more species joined their crusade for creative freedom. The Valeth, the aliens who had first taken Earth's people, became humanity's closest allies in the fight against perfect order. Dr. Minho, now an old man, received one final message from Dr. Sumin. Minho, we have done it. The last Devourer stronghold has fallen. The galaxy is free to be chaotic again. Are you coming home? He asked. We are home. Earth gave birth to us, but the galaxy is our home now. We are its guardians of chaos. And the Devourers? They have learned something important. Perfect order is not perfection. It is death. Some of them have asked us to teach them how to be creatively chaotic.